Today I wanted to practice talking about the idea of piano practice. Talking about piano practice is something that comes up when I'm first meeting with parents who are interviewing me to possibly be their child's piano teacher or piano teacher for themselves. And it's really important for me to have a grounding on what I believe and what values I promote. And so this comes up a lot in terms of the idea of piano practice because parents often want to know, like, how do I set this up? What are your requirements for piano practice and stuff like that. And I guess I just wanted to practice talking about this so that I can get better at it and serve my students better. So the I find that the conversation around piano practice is usually grounded in this kind of logic. In philosophy, we might call this conditional reasoning, if this, then that kind of thinking, which is basically if you want to get better at piano, you have to commit to practicing every day. And on the one hand, the logic kind of makes sense. The point of practice is to get better at your skill. And so it stands to reason that you can fit in these more opportunities to get better at your skill if you practice every day. So there's kind of a logic there of like maximizing your results, right? But like most logic, it doesn't always apply that neatly to humans. Um, in my experience as a teacher, practice does not necessarily make perfect. And the idea that if you practice something every day, you'll get better at it, it doesn't always apply. In fact, it rarely applies. And I'll give you an example. There are many things that we do every day that we don't necessarily get better at. Brushing your teeth, for example. I brush my teeth every day. I hope you do as well. But I don't expect to get any better at brushing my teeth when I'm 80 compared to when I'm 40. It doesn't work like that. It's a daily practice, but it's not something that I'm actually getting better at. And why is that? Typically because I zone out when I'm brushing my teeth. It's something that I sit down, or I guess I stand and I do. I commit myself to doing, but I zone out. I'm not really paying attention to it. It's just something that I fit into my day and then I move on. And there's a danger with practicing piano that it can become like that too. Just because you sit yourself down at your piano every day does not necessarily mean that you're going to get better. In fact, having a forced regimen of daily practice can even be detrimental to your practice when it becomes something that you dread or something that you feel that you have to do in order to be a good student or a legitimate piano player. And I guess that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, which is that in my experience as a teacher, the limiting factor on anybody's ability to practice is their capacity for attention in that moment. While they're practicing, how much capacity for attention do they have for what they are doing? And I guess I'm trying to wrap this around to being a conversation about having more purposeful practice. If you are going to sit down to have something purposeful and meaningful to you that you can direct your attention to. I've had many students who, not many, I'll be honest, very few students that I've had have actually been able to commit to a routine of daily practice. And I guess that makes me wonder, like, if it's so difficult for people to do, why do we keep holding this up as the standard in our industry? Daily practice is a beautiful goal that you might want to attain one day. But so rarely do I see it as being a beautiful goal, and rather another instrument that people use to criticize themselves or to punish themselves. They consider themselves not to be legitimate piano players or not a very good student if they're not practicing every day. I guess in response, I would ask, well, what is the quality of your practice when you do sit down? Um, are you are you paying attention? Are you in love with what you're doing? The quality of practice seems to be a lot more important to me than the quantity of practice. At any rate, so I guess my closing thought would be for anybody here who is struggling with daily practice, whether it's in music or any other industry, to let go, to try to let go of that, the logical need to practice every day and to feel badly about yourself if you're not absolutely maximizing um, the time that you have available in your week. um, that is an expectation that I think is grounded in formal logic that doesn't necessarily apply to humans who are not all logical. They're also emotional and spiritual. We have many things that we're trying to we're trying to be here in this world. So at any rate, I hope that made sense. I am going to keep working on this. Thanks so much.